All right, let's go. Hi. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Roderick, aka Rodrigo, aka Coolest Man on YouTube. So, let me ask you a quick question. When you started to learn how to read, what did they teach you? If you're like me, they taught me syllables, sounds, sentences, the typical grammar stuff. Then you start elevating to an actual book. And then you learn to read the book from left to right, and you kind of get the sentences and then the paragraphs, and then you get like what the book's about. Then you graduate to the almighty chapter books. Something like this. Nancy Drew, you read the book, you'll find out who the murderers or who the killers, or if you're like me, you get obsessed with Goosebumps and R.L. Stine, and you're just like reading it, trying to figure out who's the bad guy, who's the creeper, and what is happening in these books. That is called passive reading. You read, you get the information, you take it in, and you go on to the next step, next book, next thing. And passive reading is amazingly good, but when you're reading books to actually try to elevate and move to the next level, passive reading is the absolute worst way you can read a book, because what it leads to is the dreaded, let me say it one more again, the dreaded analysis paralysis, which is where you're gonna read one book when they tell you how to do something, and then you're gonna get someone else's theory of how to do something, and then someone else's theory, and you're just waiting, years, months, days, all that time has passed by, and you haven't made a move. What I propose to you is, instead of reading passively, where you would read the Hunger Games and figure out what Katniss is doing, you would do active reading. Active reading? I've never heard of active reading. Well, it's because I made it up. But other than that, I did make it up. But active reading is the philosophy of not just going through the whole story and figuring it out. It's actively something that you do, kind of like a cookbook, right? You don't read a cookbook from the beginning to end and get the gist of how Gordon Ramsay is telling you how to cook chicken, beef, teriyaki, shrimp, all those good things. You actually take one recipe and they tell you what to do, and you actively do it, and then by the end of that sheet, you actually have a meal. Then you can judge if it's good, bad, or indifferent. This is kind of the exact same concept when you're reading a nonfiction, for lack of better word, self-help book, but a book that actually is telling you how to do something, like this book, Wealth Without Cash by Pace Morby. I haven't read this book because I'm actively reading another book right now, and active reading takes a little longer than passive reading. So you get the concept. So if you go to a chapter, let's say the chapter is how to find leads and who to talk to, you to read that whole chapter. Okay, who do I talk to? He says do this, call brokers, call other wholesalers, call investors, find those people out to contact them, right? Then when that chapter is over, you stop, just like the cookbook, and you start administering what the man told you, or the woman, or whatever they call themselves. And voila, by the end of the book, just like the cookbook, you'll have a lot of good recipes, or some semi recipes, but you will know either they're selling you some really good things, or they're just lying, and ChatGPT wrote the whole thing for them and it doesn't work. Now this way, when you're halfway through or through one book and you go to another method, you actually got real skills that are actually going, and they're compiling on top of themselves, making the snowball of winning. Oh man, the snowball of winning. It's kind of weird to say when you're in Texas like I am, and you're in a massive drought where there's not a drop of rain, let alone snow. But you could have a snowball that's avalanching, that's rolling down the hill of winnings, because now every book you read It's not just the, I heard or I kind of felt what they were saying. They said this and he believes in that. And then you ask the person the actual question, does it work? And they're like, I don't know, because I didn't do it. So this is the concept of active reading, and my rally cry to say, let's pass on passive reading when it comes to escalating our life. All right. Again, I'm your host, Rodrigo, aka Coolest Man on YouTube. Peace.